So Keto Snowball Cookies are what we're making today, and some of you might know these as Keto Mexican Wedding Cookies or Keto Russian Tea Cookies, depending on where you live. Actually, these cookies have like 1,000 names, I've come to find out. So let me know in the comments below what you call these cookies. I've just always called them Keto Snowball Cookies. Anyway, as I'm sure you know, these cookies are typically loaded with sugar. In fact, the outside of these cookies is quite literally covered in powdered sugar. However, the low-carb keto-friendly version of these cookies that we're gonna be making today has no sugar added to them. And the best part is that each one has just over 1 net carb. Now, with that said, let's jump right into the good stuff, and I'll show you how to make some low-carb keto snowball cookies, Mexican wedding cookies, Russian. All right, so first things first, we're going to preheat our oven to 325 degrees. Then we're gonna get out a food processor and add 1 cup or 120 grams of walnuts to it. By the way, you can also use pecans instead. Now, once we've done that, we're gonna pop the food processor onto the motor and pulse our walnuts until a fine flour consistency takes shape. Then when that's looking good, we're gonna set those aside and add a stick or 112 grams of softened butter to a super large bowl. Now we're gonna add our keto-friendly sweetener, which is gonna be some of this stuff, some confectioner's swerve. And for today's Keto Snowball Cookies recipe, we're gonna be using a 1/2 cup or 75 grams of it. So once we've added that to our bowl, we're gonna get out our hand mixer and cream the butter and swerve together. That said, once we got something that looks like this going on in our bowl, we're gonna add the walnuts we prepped from earlier to it, along with the rest of our ingredients for our Keto Snowball Cookies. So we're gonna add 1.5 cups or 160 grams of some blanched almond flour to the bowl, along with a tablespoon or 7 grams of coconut flour, a heaping teaspoon or 5 grams of vanilla extract, and a pinch of salt. So now that we've added those ingredients, we're gonna use a spatula and spatulize them until they combine into a thick ball of dough. And it might take a minute or two for that to happen, but once it does, you'll end up with something that looks like this. Now, at this point, we're going to refrigerate our dough for 20 to 30 minutes, and then after that amount of time has passed, we can start forming our Keto Mexican Wedding Cookies. So, as you're seeing here, we're going to form small balls of dough about the size of roughly half a golf ball out of our larger ball of dough, and then add about 10 of them to a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. We're then going to want to refrigerate those for about 10 to 15 minutes before we bake them, but the recipe is going to make 2 batches, so while we're waiting for that first batch to chill, we can start forming our second batch. Then when we form the second batch, we can chill those in the fridge and start baking the first one. That said, these cookies will only need about 10 to 12 minutes in the oven, and right when the tops just start to turn golden brown is when you'll want to pull them out. By the way, they will be incredibly soft when they come out, so don't try to move them off of the tray until they've had a chance to set. Then when they've set, but they're still kind of warm, we'll add a 1/3 cup or 50 grams of confectioner swerve to a small bowl and dip our cookies one by one into the sweetener. And of course, we'll want to make sure that we coat every inch of our Keto Snowball cookies in it to make them look as authentic as possible. Now, once we've got all of our cookies looking good, we can add them to a bowl and serve. And that, my friends, is how to make Keto Snowball Cookies or Keto Mexican Wedding Cookies, or even Keto Russian Tea Cookies, depending on what you call them. Anyway, for more info on today's low-carb cookie recipe, check out the video description below, and I hope you like them.